Yeah, good day, everyone, and thank you for tuning to Activate Media today. This is another podcast on Bridging the Gap. And today we are here with an ecosystem builder, community builder, someone who's been pushing the tech ecosystem, Anambra State, for multiple years now. And we have the one and only Zikora here with us.
Big man. I'm excited to be here. This is what it's about, right? Telling our stories. So I'm super excited to be here.
Thank you very much for being here with us today. So just a brief introduction about who Zikora is, what you do in the ecosystem, what you do first of all, apart from what you do, and then what you do in the ecosystem also.
I'm a problem solver, but I like to use the word entrepreneur.
Okay.
I'm currently focused on workforce development. By that I mean I lead a company called Wadata HR, where we connect amazing talents here in Africa to global opportunities. And on a personal level, I'm an AI and soft skills trainer. I'm super passionate about human development and passionate about solving hard problems, and all of this spills into all of my work. I believe we're going to talk more about it here in Anambra State, where we're shooting this podcast from, mainly known as the co-founder of Anambra Techies. Anambra Techies is the fastest growing tech community in Anambra State, and our mission is to cultivate world-class tech talents and connect them to job opportunities. This mission has evolved over time, but our aim is to have a day come where all over the world you're thinking about like hiring talents from Africa or from Nigeria. You're thinking about Anambra, where Anambra can actually play a pivotal role, and equally like be on the ranks of ecosystems where you can actually find like world class talents, whether you are hiring locally or you're hiring internationally. So yeah, that's like the bulk of my work. As an ecosystem builder, it has also like resulted in few other things, things like laying the foundations for the Anambra Startup Network, things like hosting some very very like impactful conferences, from TechCon Anambra to Anambra Web3 Conference, to partnering with diverse players within the ecosystem. So yeah, that's like a bulk of the things I do.
Nice one. So I think the next question is around what's your motivation around it in terms of what motivates you? What's the motivation behind your community building, ecosystem building, and all Anambra State?
Yeah, so I give this a lot of thought sometimes because it can get really hard. I mean, I know a lot of people that would want to like run away because doing stuff here in Anambra is like really, really like hard. So for me, my motivation primarily, my first motivation is the fact that I'm a problem solver. I feel like when I see problems, I try to solve them, right? I don't know if you guys know, I'm actually from Anambra State, but I grew up in Lagos. Like most people would consider me a Lagosian rather than an Anambrian, right? But I schooled in Anambra before going back to like start my career. So while working there in Lagos, I got into tech. I've always been an operator slash project manager, and I was working at this company there. Tech was like a whole different thing. Other industries, they are like boring. Let me put it that way. But technology was filled with a lot of young people. So one particular incident that really stood out for me was when my company sponsored an event for Gen Zs. You know Gen Zs now, right? So I went for this event and representing my company, and I saw young people 16, 17 talking about earning dollars, talking about they become the breadwinner of their family as a result of technology. And knowing that I had stayed in Anambra during my school days and a little bit after service, and looking at the big picture, I'm a big picture kind of guy. I realized that this is something that we should actually take back home. There are a lot of influences along the way because no man is an island, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, I met a lot of amazing people in my journey, both in Lagos and when I came back to Anambra for a few things while working, then that inspired me. Maybe because of the conversation, I'll mention some names. My friend then, my boss, Barrister Ifedi, Anambra first son, there was this sense around, I think that's the period where there was a lot of emphasis on Akurulu. Yeah, there was a lot of emphasis on Akurulu. Up to tomorrow, I still give credit to somebody like Uche Okoye, Anambra first son, because Barrister Ifedi introduced us, and hearing him talk about Anambra, talk about the fact that this is actually our land. So most people that know me knows that I'm very terrible with speaking Igbo, right? But I just got that fire. So remember, there was the incident with seeing how that technology was a game changer. Now, I was like, it's for people who have graduated, etc. That was where I was looking at it from. But going for that event and seeing people who have not finished secondary school
Yeah.
were earning in dollars, where they had skills, they were taking care of. I felt like this is a no-brainer. Like this has to come to Anambra. All of that experience, and I'm like, okay, let's do this here. So to answer your question, my motivation is the fact that I saw a gap. I saw that the world was catching on, like the entire world was taking advantage of this thing called technology.
Yeah.
Young people were taking advantage of this thing called technology. And back here, it was not the case, at least at that time. The opportunity to actually like contribute to this movement of developing Anambra. So I'm really, really, really passionate about Anambra. I'm passionate about what it could become. I look for a day where young people that are not based here, right, would want to come and live here,
Yeah.
as well as people who come to Unizik and other tertiary institutions, checking it and being like, Omo, I want to stay back here.
Yeah.
It's already happening. So,
Already
so these
happening.
are like my motivations. Yeah.
It's already happening. I agree with that. I think the whole idea of making Anambra like a digital nomad's home
Yeah.
would be like an ideal future, to make what we are doing here make all the sense in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's what, that's the whole passion around most of us that are in the ecosystem, especially when you look at most of us probably have been outside. So like your story, I think our people have this love for home. That is the reason why, as much as here in Anambra State, we have one of the highest immigration rates of our people leaving.
Yeah.
We have that brain drain, kills us here. But then we still have a lot of us who, even if they are elsewhere, they come back here to, even if it's to build house in the village or one thing. So it's that drawback to home that we have that I believe always nudges some of us who have learned stuff outside or grown our careers outside, coming back here to try to make some form of impact. So
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah, so my next question is like, why do you think this is, something that is important for us to be doing, for you to be doing?
So ecosystem building, doing what I'm doing, why is it important? So I was addressing a crowd recently, and I was telling them the fact that problems will always be there, right?
Yeah.
You can either choose to complain about it, blame another person about it, or do something.
Or ignore it. Do
you understand?
Or ignore it.
Or ignore it, right? Or ignore it. It's important to do because the truth is nobody will do it for us.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't just jump into trying to contribute. I did my research. God knows, like I visited almost all the hubs as of then, asked questions, interacted, and I think I saw potential. And the truth is that based on what we've been able to do so far, the success we've seen is evidence that that judgment was right. I made the right call. So in answering your question, nobody's going to do it for us, right? If we don't take our time to actually like develop our place, there's nobody that's going to come from outside to come and do it. We're not like a Lagos that was once a capital city where, you understand, I mean,
we dragged everybody from different parts of the country to it.
Exactly. So this is our land. This is, I don't want to be sounding too
but charity begins at home.
It's patriotic, but that's just the truth. If we don't do it, nobody will do it for us. And I feel like there's that part of every human being that wants to like leave something behind. You understand? Something, that's higher part of you that wants to like look at you and say, okay, I did something that was bigger than me.
Exactly.
I did something that was not just about me alone. Right? So I think that's very important. So it's important to do because nobody will do it for us. We are missing out on a huge opportunity to actually like grow our economy, right? There's a lot of layer. Technology does a lot of things. I mean, so some people think when I do some of these things, some people think that it's just about the tech alone. I mean, for me, it's about the economy. When you have people who are earning in Anambra, now you know the limitations of what you can do. I'm looking at the population of Anambra State, and I'm seeing that we have a very young population.
Oh.
We cannot necessarily start trying to create the white collar corporate industry. I mean, it's almost going to be impossible. I mean, like we want to start having things like accounting firm, banks. It's a little bit hard. Let me put it that way, right?
Mhm.
But with technology, we can actually like leapfrog some of these things. When I say leapfrog, I mean we can have startup companies, but even before going that far, individuals on their own being able to work from their laptop and earn money, right? Outside of Anambra. Eventually, these are some of the indices we start paying attention to. How much revenue
Do we?
is being generated by this amount, by these young people in this state?
Yeah.
Do you understand? We're getting to that place where we start measuring this kind of thing. So it's important to do because it's important for the economy. Nobody will do it if we don't do it. We're missing out on a huge opportunity to develop Anambra State if we don't do it, right? And it can be done, so why not do it?
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
You made mention of something that hits into the next question, which is the potentials you saw.
Yeah.
And so just want to elaborate more on that a bit. So what potentials do you actually see in Anambra State and in the current state of the tech ecosystem in the state now?
So starting from where I was, so number one is we have human capital, right? We constantly rank on very high on indices of like most educated states in Nigeria.
Our people always make best WAEC and NECO and stuff like that, win international awards and things in science and math. So
every competition these days, like Anambra comes as first position.
Yeah.
You understand? So that's first. I mean, we have massive human potential. We also have like the Southeast in general also has like a very high buying power. I mean, this is something that people do not really like talk about enough. So there's this book I read back then. It's called Prosperity Paradox, right? Where we're talking about something around how the best kind of innovation is market creating innovation.
Okay.
Right? So a situation where I think in that book they use the example of M-Pesa.
Okay.
Yeah, M-Pesa, the Safaricom story and all of that stuff. Now, I want us to look at it from two perspectives, right? So the first part is the fact that we have like the largest open market in West Africa, right? There's a lot of money, there's a lot of economic activity
going on there,
right, going on here in the Southeast that can benefit from a service layer, right? I feel like beyond the restaurants, there's so much more that can be done, right? So that's one aspect. On the other end is that market creating innovation, where because according to like popular belief, it's a non-consuming market, you are able to like crack anybody that's able to crack the code of actually creating products that is able to like meet the consumer at that level where they are is going to create like massive wealth. So M-Pesa, which was used as like the case study in that book, essentially is like a lot of people were very skeptical about having. I think I'm mixing up this story. Ibrahim Mo and so, but there were a lot of people that were skeptical about having digital banking, right? I know I'm mixing up this story, but he saw the potential in creating a market that is from a non-consuming market. So potential in terms of human potential, we have a lot of young people, right? So currently, Anambra Techies is in like six institutions. Recently, we had like this campus store, and you see the amount of people that are coming out to do stuff. Not just our events alone. I mean, if you look at the events that happen in Anambra State and you see the young people that come out, you see massive potential. And I think one thing we're equally not talking about is the larger Southeast market, right? And that's one thing I'm actually like finding very interesting. And it's beginning to happen. So this period I've been traveling a lot. I was in Imo recently, and Imo, they are currently building their Imo digital city. I mean, they have a literal area that is dedicated to technology with halls, buildings, and all of that stuff. So hubs are taking space there, startups are taking space there. Things are happening in Abia State, a lot is happening in Enugu. Ebonyi is picking up. Now, there's also that potential of regionalization, where I launch a product here in the southeast because we are in a very large way like similar. Whatever is able to like thrive here can thrive any other market in the southeast,
Yeah.
right? So these are some of the potential. There's a huge potential to disrupt the SME market, right? The recent winner of the GTEx competition here in the southeast was serving the SME market in the inventory space, and those guys have a lot of money, right? If we're able to build products that is able to like solve some of their painful problems, it's going to be a big thing. There's opportunities in the real estate space. So from both startups as well as individuals being able to like earn. I was in a podcast, a webinar yesterday, and it was on recruiting, global recruiting, and the speaker was talking about the fact that he's bullish on offshoring, right? I don't know if you know whether you're aware of this, but Africa is currently the youngest continent in the world
in terms of population. Yeah.
What that means is that the world is going to be coming down to higher here, right? That's a very, very big deal. So I always like to look at the primary effect, secondary effect. So imagine a situation, which is one of the things I'm very, very excited about, right? Startups are a whole ball game that we might not really like dive into, but let's just talk about talent. Now imagine a situation where we have 5,000, 10,000 people who are working in technology and are earning, whether their companies are based here or based outside the country or based somewhere else in Nigeria, right? Now, the average salary in Anambra State, you hear 50, 100K or 150K. Let's just be modest, right? But in technology, you see people earning way higher, especially when their companies are not even here in Anambra.
Yeah.
And I know companies that are based in Anambra that are paying up to 500K.
Yeah.
That's how much you can earn in technology. Now, imagine young people having that kind of buying power. Automatically, you're talking about
a lot of industries
sprouting. You look at IFIT as an example. Just because we have 40,000 students there, like there's no time that they walk on the road that they're constantly building shops.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, who is going to buy from all these people? But people are actually buying from them.
Yeah.
So that's a very big opportunity for us here in Anambra State that I'm excited about. The real estate industry is going to chop and lick mouth because you need houses.
Yeah, sure.
Right? The entertainment industry, the leisure industry, hospitality industry is going to bloom. So a lot of things are going to happen as a result of this. So it's just mind-blowing to think about the potential when it comes to like technology in the state.
Now it's more about, we've discussed like the youth population. I think Anambra has over 60% of youth demography in the state, between the ages of teenage to say 40 years old, thereabouts. We're still in that bracket of youth. So my question is, a lot of us now do not have the professional experience, knowledge, and all of that. And having a young ecosystem that is, for now, primarily driven by the younger demography with lack of experience that those more experienced professionals from the state have, but it's being primarily right now driven by people that do not have as much experience, in career-wise and life-wise and all that. What's the role of mentorship to in order to kind of like help and push the ecosystem, further?
So mentorship is extremely important. I won't lie to you, right? And I think it's something that we do not talk enough of. So right now we have ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is like multi-purpose Swiss Army knife for a lot of young people. So right now ChatGPT is mentoring. ChatGPT is mentoring a lot of people, right? And I wouldn't really blame them. So I think we should start this conversation by looking at the availability of mentors. Personally, I know that you can't really like replace the experience of a fellow human being, right? I mean, somebody who has actually passed through the path you are taking,
gone through the emotions.
So like I mentioned earlier, I'm currently like training on an AI trainer, right? And one of the things I teach is called AI fluency. AI fluency basically is about figuring out how to actually, so AI is not going anywhere, right? How do you now make sure that you are able to, just the way you can write, are you able to use this tool the right way, both effectively and ethically? And one of the principles is called delegation, knowing when to use AI or not. So it's not every time you use AI.
Okay.
So in the aspect of like experience, like growing in your career or even advancing, there's always the place of experience, right? The best users of AI are people who have complete context of like the problems that they're trying to solve and the industry. So it makes it like easier. So mentorship is like very very important, and it's something that I've been like thinking long and hard about. So we recently did a poll in the community, I mean Anambra Techies, and one of the major asks for people was mentors, right? So people are looking for mentors, but now the thing is, where are they?
Yeah, they're here. They're not, probably not in Anambra, but Anambra has a lot of mentors.
So yes,
Also.
okay, go ahead.
No, so my own point is we've had the talk with Barrister Ifedi and all, and the whole question of mentorship came about. I had that conversation on mentorship also at last year's ISN gathering with one of the leaders of ISN, who's incidentally also from Anambra State. And I spoke about, we do need mentors back home. We were in Uyo at the time we had that conversation. And I just feel like, because I'm someone who likes less talk, more action.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're having podcasts, and podcasts are all about talk. But sometimes what the podcast helps us do is, at least for me, my own position is, helps me see two sides of the coin and then know which action that we need to take. So, I mean, when you're just speaking now, an idea popped into my head, literally, that maybe we do need some form of partnerships. I know we are still in our organization of the ecosystem, trying to pull out everyone from different silos and, foster more collaboration among, various individuals, communities, organizations, and the likes. But how do we bring that collaboration together and create some form of initiative or program that is mentorship based, and then we have real one-on-one. I don't know how the program is going to be, it's just pop up in my head, but these are conversations we can definitely take outside here. But just in terms of reducing because with the polls you have given, and conversations have come up where it is, are the people ready for mentorship? So from the mentors' perspectives, you're asking, are the young ones ready for mentorship? And if the young ones have done polls and say, we want mentorship, then maybe, the two sides have not come together to have that communication to say, oh yes, you guys think that they need mentorship. They also think they need mentorship from you guys. And if you guys are waiting for them to be ready and they're saying they're ready, then what's the hold up?
Yeah. So what you said makes a lot of sense. For me, I've already begun to think about like, okay, practical ways of achieving this, because like you said, there are a lot of mentors. We have quite a number of mentors here in Anambra.
We do.
And we just need to be like more intentional about identifying these mentors. So for example, I already found myself a mentor recently in Anambra here.
Okay.
Before now, when I started the community, we had somebody who got interested based in the US, and he has been serving like our patron. So advice, feedback, support sometimes, right? So personally, this for young people who might listen to this podcast. I'm like a product of mentorship. I can never say I did it by myself. No, there were people who, even up till tomorrow, which that I made reference to, I still go to meet him and be like, guys, see, Chief see. Especially when I'm like, I feel disillusioned about the entire Anambra space, right? So we can't overemphasize it. yeah, I think we need to actually like make proactive steps towards it. We just recently got somebody who is like an Anambarian to become the first patron of the data analytics community. So he'll be providing like mentorship for the data analytics community. He's the CEO of Citylana, a top tier like data analytics firm,
Mm.
right? Stories about that will be going out shortly. We're taking proactive steps personally because I feel like, and even before now, we've had some guys based outside who are interested in Anambra. The truth is, from my own personal experience, okay, recently I was even having a conversation with a lady that is running like a newsletter apprenticeship. She's trying to get people in Southeast who would apprentice under her, learn the business of newsletters and build out newsletters for free.
Mm.
And she's even willing to pay them. I mean, this
Mm.
conversation happened, was it day before yesterday? So what I realize is I might not be able to speak so much of local mentorship, right? But I have benefited from it. But when it comes to like our diaspora,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
our people outside are hungry
Yeah.
to give back,
Okay.
right? But the question now is what's like that channel that we're providing from them? I
Mm.
bet you, like if you design any program whatsoever that involves having our guys outside support people down here,
Mm.
they will. I literally had our patron at some point give scholarships to about 10 people to study cybersecurity. Do you understand?
Mm.
So they want to give back. They're looking for how to give back,
Mhm.
right? Mentorship, support, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. But it's now like, okay, what's the avenue? So mentorship is important, and we have mentors that are waiting. As far as um, I can't speak so much of local. I know they are benefited from them,
Mm.
but local aside, internationally,
Yeah.
especially our guys in diaspora, we have a lot that want to like really give back.
So that now comes back to taking the action, and it's not something that we will take, on camera. But I'm just putting that to you
Yeah,
because I like acid hot.
yeah,
So it's something you have to take up because we've had some of these conversations,
Mm.
privately, and we have plenty ideas and all, and the work we've put in terms of trying to bring the collaboration within the ecosystem.
Mm.
I'm saying that stuff like this, I would like a situation because everybody has one or two initiatives or programs that we're already currently
Yeah,
running. So there are some huge programs like this that benefit a large number of
yeah,
people that need collaboration to kind of like take up,
yeah, great, yeah.
something like that. So, but so we're like at the tail end of all of this, and I
Mm.
think the what this podcast we're hoping that Activate Media is trying to put out is tell our stories, right? And one of the stories that is important for us to tell is success stories.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So from your experience, working within the ecosystem, and what success stories do you think when you look at how many years it's been between when you started and now? What are those optimistic stories? And please mention Jetpack because Val was the first person on this podcast,
Mm.
and gladly he was the first person because we started off with a bang in terms of putting out the first
Yeah,
the
success
first
story.
success story we
Yeah.
could lay our hands on. So let's just look at other success stories that are there and even mention some names of people that we also need to bring here and talk to based on the successes they've been able to achieve just to inspire and motivate other young talents and entrepreneurs within our ecosystem.
Okay. So in terms of speaking of success stories, I would like to say that unlike let me use it. Then anybody can like now debate it. But
Mm.
unlike some other ecosystems, I feel like Anambra is the wave of growth is like uniform. So what I mean by that is they're like if you look at Anambra, there are like three major areas, right? As far as tech is concerned, and maybe even economy, Oka, Onitsha, Nnewi,
Mhm.
and these three areas are like thriving. So between 2022, when I was like, let's get this done, let's contribute to the growth of Anambra, and between now, we've seen astronomical growth. I
Mhm.
mean, both in terms of like number of people that have entered into tech. Back then, it was just like I knew a few guys, Codex, and a few other people, and people were dragging their legs when it comes to like training. But now, let's use this August as an example. There's this everybody jumping on summer boot camp.
Yeah.
And the truth is, every single hub will get people because everybody has seen that technology is the future. Technology is where it is, and in as much as there are other interesting areas that we need to pay attention to, like the creator economy, for example, technology is not going anywhere, right? So, in terms of success stories, I will count that as
That is
one.
a success story.
Yes, I'll count that as one because the interest in technology is massive. I mean, everybody wants to now enter into tech right now in Anambra State. Other success stories will be startups. There was a time where we could not count startups. We literally could not say, okay, these were startups. I think the one I knew then was the ones that what's in the name, Big Code and the rest were building. But right now we can count startups, and our startups are actually like doing amazing stuff. I'm taking it step by step. So I can comfortably in one sitting mention 10 startups. This was not possible before. And I'm not talking about people who are just playing. I mean, serious builders, right? That are pushing their brand on TikTok, trying to get into big publications, striking interesting partnerships. It's very, very interesting to see.
So I'd just like to mention, if you want to know the list of those startups because you're interested in investing or supporting any way or another, put that in the comments. Thank you.
All right, also. And we're also now getting like interest. So a top CEO, I can't mention his name because I don't have that like freedom to, in Lagos, had requested for a list of startups that he's interested in investing in. And that was is as a result of the work that's happening generally in Anambra. So we're now seeing like people building stuff. In terms of like jobs, I think that was already becoming like a broken record because I talk about it almost every year. We created this group called 100 Jobs, and the whole idea was to help 100 people get jobs in Anambra State from the community. Now we've named it 1,000 because we've gone past that. Personally, I've connected like a lot of people, especially because that's where I'm like mostly focused on remote jobs outside the country. I've had people get remote jobs from community managers to software engineers to designers to software developers. These are like success stories. There's one I would like to mention on this podcast. One of us, she's not so known, but her name is Lily. She's based in Onitsha. She was recognized as one of the top B2B SaaS writers in the world. So she's currently doing stuff with I think AppSumo also, SEMrush rather. That's one. Our guy Valentine, who won the grant of 75,000 USD grant. This was not investment, and there are a lot of okay. There's this product. It's keeping my memory, but in the Web3 space, they also won a grant in the what's the name, Solana ecosystem.
Yeah.
Hopefully I remember the name or we put it post edit. They are doing big stuff, and not these guys are from Anambra State. Should we talk about GDG? GDG is like on a whole new level in terms of like GDG on each. I mean, in terms of like consistently pushing out events. I think their first event, I had to like handhold and really, really support. But now, like back to back, they're like thriving. Newi had a tech event this year. They're planning on that one again, right? And not only these are not just individuals, the industry is also coming out to be part of this stuff.
Yeah.
You understand? So these are like incredible strides.
I'll add to it. There's been a lot of pitch competitions going on in the state, which is something that I don't know if it's been as much as it's been. And then grants that are coming from local businesses also, like I would gladly mention Tiger Foods because he's really been supportive of the technology and business initiatives that have been going on recently. So that I'll add to success stories.
I agree with you. So
and then development partners.
Yes,
are having more interest in Anambra State.
I agree.
I just think in terms of areas that we can improve to achieve more success stories will now be a proper cohesion within the various players in the ecosystem.
Mm.
I think that would really foster stronger appeal in terms of development partners and interest in what is going on in Anambra State, basically.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I don't like to discuss the government.
I knowingly do not bring up the government here,
Yeah.
but it's quite sad because it's always good to mention.
Yeah.
So when you mention those things about government and the right ears here, and if the government is being intentional, then they should ask the right questions to know the right way to implement some of the initiatives. And why I put it the way I've put it now is because we know we have a government or a governor who has interest in technology.
Mm.
He has shown that, I don't want to use the word passion because maybe he doesn't come from the world or generation that will have the passion for technology in terms of wanting to learn it and all of that. But he understands its relevance, its importance, and where technology is placed in the modern world, right? And he has put in investments and initiatives in order to foster growth in the technology sector. However, where I draw the line in terms of all that interest is the implementation of his interest.
Yeah.
I won't say the implementation has been groundbreaking. The implementation has been ongoing, but impact-wise is left for the future to tell us. But in terms of the space of 3+ years now, I believe that while the interest is there, the implementation can be a whole lot better.
And to speak to what you just said now, right? The private sector has a lot of roles to play.
Yeah.
And we are honestly doing it. There's room for improvement, but without directly like trying to have that conversation, because maybe this is not like the podcast for it. I would want to say this, that if anybody, the governor, whoever is listening to this, I think that we are sleeping on gunpowder. No, that's just the truth. I mean, Anambra State has gunpowder. If you literally, intentionally, we have people who are intentional about that, see that we have gunpowder, first of all. When I say gunpowder, I mean hub owners that are already doing magic without support.
Yeah.
Startups that are already building without support. Communities starting on their own and doing amazing stuff without support. Right? Imagine when there is support. Imagine when there is like intentionality with actually like coordinating
Structured.
these people.
Knowing what you want to achieve out of it also.
There's no way we can. I mean, the sky will be the limit.
Yeah.
Right? I personally do not see clear vision and roadmap when it comes to like leadership
Implementation.
in government. Do you understand?
Yeah,
right? I don't see clear vision. You can't implement what you don't. If you don't have a plan,
What are
you implementing? Do you understand? So I feel like it's it.
And I'm sorry for cutting you short, but I feel like creating that plan also needs government. If government has the intention that they want to see this work out, then like some governors have done in the past in other states, what they would not about, this is not about technology, but just you want to provide like support or growth in a particular industry or community or whatever. You just don't go thinking about, okay, this is what they want without having a dialogue with the people, the stakeholders there, and saying, okay, this is what we have in mind. What do you people think about it? What do you people need? And you now create support for what they need. I feel like, and I just have to mention it because it's important that we do, which is the governor's take on technology was to create the Solution Innovations District, which is supposed to be like for innovation, business incubation and all. But here we are today, and for a good initiative in technology, we find ourselves competing with the government as hub owners because the agency puts in place for this, it does the same thing that we do. It helps in training people, provides co-working spaces like we do. And I feel personally, wrong strategy, completely wrong strategy. It is creating burden for the private sector who are supposed to be enabled. So government should be playing the enabler role other than the competitive role with the private sector, which is why I would say government has good intentions towards the technology space, but the implementation, I would always say, is completely wrong.
Yeah.
Mm.
You hit the nail on the head. And honestly, it wouldn't make any sense if nothing is done in the next 4 years.
Yeah, because we don't know what the next person is going to
Yeah.
do. He could trash down every single thing that the governor is currently doing, and we have no idea.
Yeah.
So if we don't make the best out of the present governor if he wins the election in his second tenure, then all that potential rise that the industry could have had would just be or 8 years of like to be horrible. It would be a nightmare.
Yeah, but it's the private sector as well, right?
We'll keep pushing.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel
We'll keep pushing.
I feel like this conversation is part of it. Beyond this conversation, taking it to the right
places.
Yeah. Right?
Having those
Let
real
the right ears
here.
Do you understand?
I think that's where we are now.
Yeah, and let there be full awareness of what's actually here. I honestly hope I did justice in really painting a picture of the Anambra that we have, the Anambra that we could be.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the amount of people who are in Anambra State and are just in their rooms, working on their laptops, doing their thing, is just incredible. We can't really fathom it. We've not figured out how much growth the tech ecosystem or the technology industry can actually contribute to the economy of the state.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very underestimated.
Yeah.
And the earlier we actually see that, the better for us.
So final words.
You said the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step.
Just one step.
Yeah. So we've been taking steps, right, as an ecosystem. Personally, I feel like when we talk about something as basic as collaboration, I think we are beginning to make progress there as well. I want us to see that all of these is adding up, right? Everybody who is contributing, it takes balls to invest in Anambra as a hub owner, for example, right? It takes balls to
But you have to be creating markets.
You have to be creating markets. It takes balls to want to build a company when there are no even VCs. You will travel to Lagos to go and find funding. Nobody's coming to fund you, I'm sorry. Right?
Don't worry, people are coming to fund you over time. That's why we're taking these steps now.
I'm getting there. So you know that this terrain is rough, right? But you're still doing this. I just want to say that it's all adding up. I mean, we are not where we were a few years ago, and we're not going to be where we are a few years from now. And it's only going to happen if we don't stop, right? If we keep on having these conversations, taking it from conversations to implementation and doing our own part. One very important thing is let's support our own, right? Honestly, being on this podcast, seeing the other amazing things that every other person is doing. Honestly, I feel like we need to actually intentionally appreciate and support whoever is doing whatever
they're doing.
Do you understand? Whatever they are doing, because in a way, it's adding up.
It's all
right. It's all adding up. You search for Anambra, what shows up? You see that okay, there's an Activate Media podcast, there's a this, there's a that. Somebody won grant. Do you understand? So it's all adding up. So that's my final words. I'm super excited to have been here, and thank you for having me, Chukuma.
So to wrap up what he has just said in 2 lines. All gas, no brakes. Thank you, Zikora, for joining us on Bridging the Gap. Please like, comment, share, follow, subscribe, do all of that because it helps our podcast. And then just stay tuned for more interesting topics on Bridging the Gap, where we talk about the Anambra State and Southeastern Nigeria tech ecosystem, our growth, our success stories, our challenges, and the opportunities here. Have a good day and take care of yourself.